Hi guys, welcome back to Open Minded Conversation with Apostle and friend. Today we are back talking about childhood trauma. And the childhood trauma, some of us deal with it differently and some of us take it differently. So today we want to talk and address what is childhood trauma and how it's affecting us in our adult life. So today, I don't know who wants to go first. You want to start, Auntie Rudo, or you want to start, Auntie Sharon? So who do you want to start with?
I think that childhood trauma is it's a personal thing, isn't it? Everyone deals with it in their own way.
Yeah.
But in order for you to know that it's childhood trauma, you have to evaluate yourself. There's no way you can, without sitting down and thinking, I don't know why this is coming up. You have to go deep. You have to literally go deep. And I think this is where we always fail, is that we don't go deep with ourselves to find out the root of the problem. We're very good at snipping things at the leaves and never going down to the roots. So with childhood trauma, I always think it all depends what it is. You could have the trauma, for example, my children think that me being beaten up when I was young is traumatic. I used to get beaten up all the damn time. I mean, my mom, I did not hesitate. She would whack me backhand.
Yeah,
We all get
that.
My mom's hand would fly faster than a concord. But I always knew that if not to stay too close because my mom would just whack me. But for me, I wouldn't say that was trauma. It made me into a tough person. But there are some people who up until now they're thinking, oh, I wasn't treated nicely, and that's affecting their life. But some people like me, for me, it was like, oh, well, that it is what it is. But I know that when I analyze my life or when I look back at my life, I know that beating my children like that is not the best way forward. So I've learned to say, well, this happened to me. It doesn't necessarily have to pass on to the next generation. So that's one where you can easily divert it to
positive.
Exactly. But then there's some where, for example, I always think that abuse, like sexual abuse, if you were sexually abused by somebody close in the family, that's something that you're always going to be seeing. So every meeting or every family gathering, that fool is always going to be there and it will always bring it up. How to deal with that one, I always think that you need outside help. I always believe you have to tell somebody or the family has to know. I think this is just me thinking because it's not a personal situation. I wouldn't have say, oh, you need to deal with it like this. But I believe that if it happened, because the family will always insist, let's go there, and you keep going, no, they're thinking, oh, this one doesn't like the family. But you have your reasons, which you haven't told anybody. So if you tell someone, or if you tell your family, then it becomes a discussion, because it's always these big secrets that you keep quiet in your family, which then destroys that individual. That's what I think.
That's tough one.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
But then again, you say telling someone, somebody might tell someone, but because you're a child, they're not going to take your words for it.
Yeah.
100%.
They're going to say, oh, you just a child, quiet. Quiet. We all have all these things, kind of like abuse. Uncle will come to you, but then you think they're just hugging you. You're sitting on their lap and things like that. But then you say, oh, I'm uncomfortable, right? And then the mom will say, oh, no, it's your uncle. What would the uncle do that to you? In a way, your mom herself don't know what the uncle is doing behind closed door.
And they don't want to know, they're scared. Like what you're saying about dealing with things on a surface level. They just want to not think that uncle
was capable of doing that.
Because then if I talk about that or address it, that means either that uncle, in whatever capacity he is in that family, he can no longer be.
They feel like the family is a failure. For example, how can my daughter come to me and say, Mom, your brother is abusing me? In my head, I'm thinking, this doesn't make sense. How would my brother, I grow up, we would do that. But then, this is our parents' generation, they're in denial of the situation. But then we, as now, this generation, we kind of like picking up on things and think. If my child comes to me to say my brother did this to me, I have to take a back seat and say, actually, you know what? I need to analyze the situation. I need to put my eyes on it. I need to watch this closer. I shouldn't just dismiss the
child,
the father they're telling me. I have to keep my eyes closer and closer and closer and see the situation without making a big deal for the brother to know that this is what the child is telling me. Because we have to be as a team.
Yeah.
But what if the brother confesses and says,
"Oh no, that's
what,
a taboo.
You know what? I actually feel really bad. I did."
But then,
moment of weakness.
But then I need to think my brother had issue. I would then take my brother's accountability. Say you done this. Either I'm gonna think mentally he's not okay, or why would you do that? Because to be correct-minded, you can't do that.
Would you report him to the police?
Oh, 100%.
Would you get him arrested?
Oh, 100%. If I say, look, I am going to report you to the police. If it's something you need help, the police can help you. Right? But then in Africa, that even if you report to the police, there is a way that brother of the family members will get him about, which is in this country. That's one of the privileged things that we have. And sometimes we complain about this country is hard. This is some of the things we need to be grateful, because if something small things like that, it make a huge difference towards people's life.
What about if your eldest son rapes your youngest daughter? Would you report your eldest son?
Yeah. No, I would report
because a crime.
Because exactly.
Because if I say, oh, because it's my son, it's like, okay, what else are you going to let him get away with?
Exactly, because it could be me next, right? And then all my child, that means like you're picking the child, like, okay, you don't care about your youngest child. You care more about your eldest child than
or your
youngest,
reputation.
Right. So therefore, it's something, this is what sometimes, personally, people think I'm too much. I'm either aggressive, or I'm either hard, or I'm either selfish, I'm either this and this, because the reason why I make those choices, I said, if I'm not happy, I shouldn't make somebody happy. But then, for me being happy, all my children need to be happy. So I have to make a decision that make that situation happy.
But you can't be responsible for other people's happiness.
But that's what, but you see, this is some of the things, as African, I keep bringing African, and this was sometimes this country, we are in this country, it's opportunity for us to learn about ourselves, our culture, our things that our parents do. And I'm not saying what our parents did is bad. What my mom did for me, I promise you, is the best thing my mom could have done for me personally. Because without that, I won't be who I am. It made me who I am. Yeah, there's certain things my mom could have done it now and then correct it. But that's what she knew at that point. So that make me who I am, not to do those when my children are doing certain things and I want to do something out of nowhere. I say, no, your mom did that, you didn't like it. So why do you think your child will like it if you do that to them? So you see, so childhood trauma, all these things, it's a learning process. But everybody deal with it in a different way.
Yeah, because like now, if I think about my childhood trauma and I focus on that a lot, I am going to, in some degree, cause some trauma to my child in the process. Do you get what I mean?
Right.
Like, I could be neglecting other things of being a mother whilst I'm focusing on not doing the things that I feel my mother didn't do, or my dad didn't do, or the trauma that was caused. Yeah. So,
but then, so if you had childhood trauma and never dealt with it, so it happened, it was kept quiet, or you never told anybody, what now happens is, so let's say maybe you were allowed to go to a friend's house, and then when you were there, something happened with, the friend or the parents or whatever. So now what you now do is you say, my daughter doesn't go out.
Yeah.
So in so doing, when you look at it, you are doing it purely because you are protecting your child from the danger that you had, but you're also denying your child that. So even if you look at it, whichever way you look at it, if you deal with your trauma, you can then handle anything that comes after differently.
Yeah.
Because you can't protect your child from everything, but also your child needs to know how to socialize, know how
And
to...
also the fact that I was raised in Africa. My child
Is
isn't.
raised here, yeah.
There's massive differences in just that, the location.
Mm.
But another thing is, I always think that, with trauma, right? It's so individual, right? So if it's individual, you have to deal with it individually, isn't it?
Right, yeah.
Like, okay, for me, for example, it's difficult to address my childhood trauma because the key players are dead. So now raising it or bringing it up is going to do what?
But then you will go
like because you were saying you need to speak about it, or can speak about it maybe to the therapist.
Yeah.
Yes. But I can identify because of that trauma. I'm now doing A, B, C, D. I shouldn't do A, B, C, and D. I should do things differently, right? So, and then, okay, that thing has happened. Anything I do is going to help me heal.
Yes.
It's not going to undo the thing that was
exactly.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
But it's going to help me heal so that I have better relationships with
moving forward.
Even with yourself.
Even with myself. Because the way I was made to feel, because I wasn't believed. My trauma wasn't believed. Right. So then now when it plays back in my head, it's like, come on, Shari, you're making that up.
Well, because you are telling yourself.
I'm telling myself that. Because the people who I thought I was entrusting in speaking about what had happened to me didn't believe me. So I must have been making it up. Do you get what I mean?
I choose to move on with my ears. I don't look what happened in past. I try to blanket to move forward, because looking back what happened to me 10, 20 years ago, if I talk about it, if I get angry about it, it's not going to change the fact that it happened. So I'm going to move forward by better myself, by making myself a better person for myself.
But that's you ignoring it.
Yeah.
Because if something happened and then you are trying to pretend, or you're trying to ignore that, this is I think the biggest problem we have, is that we think that by saying this too will pass, this is literally a statement just to keep you going, just to keep your head above water. But at the end of the day, it happened. If you don't deal with it, it will keep coming up. You put it at the back of your mind, but for only a certain amount of time. So, if it's something that's affecting you, you really need to go back and see the root of it.
Because it doesn't come with, like, when you take tablets and it says warning, side effects can be nausea, dizziness, and whatever. It doesn't come with that. You don't know how it's going to manifest. It can either be how you choose your partners, how you choose friends, how you are at work, how you even are with your children. It manifests in so many ways that you are probably not even aware of.
And that's it's a difficult one. It's difficult.
It's really hard.
It's hard, and then it's not just us. There's a lot of people going through childhood trauma. And as we're talking, our children might grow up and say they have childhood trauma, but we are sitting down talking about and not addressing it, because their childhood trauma might not be what we think. It could be like, okay, I asked my mom for a snack, my mom refused, and then my mom shouted at me. They could take it personally. They could take it and grow up with it. So then that's when...
And when you could think, you know what, in my day, I didn't even get snacks. You never got snacks.
So therefore,
you're lucky.
And at least you're being shouted at, you're not being slapped.
Exactly.
And it's happening. And it is happening.
And I wasn't even asking for a snack, I was asking for lunch. And I used to get whooped, and I'm thinking, hey.
That's it. So that is why this kind of a conversation needs to have, because as we are talking, I'm educating myself by knowing how to approach my children, not to go through. I'm not going to say we're going to be perfect, not to leave some marks in their lifetime, but how can we do to kind of limit them?
Yes.
That's why it's good to talk.
I love being proactive. I love hearing people saying, oh, there's this problem in this, there's mental health. We need to think about mental health in African people and all that. We need to talk about it. That's fine. But I think there is more that we can do that, like,
as a community, as an individual.
Because I believe you can't pour from an empty cup, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you cannot help a community
before you help yourself when you're damaged.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So like, what is it that we can do for ourselves? Like the addressing childhood trauma, fair and fine. Yes, we address it. How, like, even when people say, "Oh, you need to heal from, your past relationships and all the other stuff," yes, it's good advice. But how do you do it? How do you do it? Because can we be honest, as three ladies that are here, right? Since we started talking on this podcast, the things we have talked about, very prevalent. They're big things, right? How many of those things have we, from this podcast, from talking, and gone home and said, "Geez, that was a heavy topic."
It was deep, yeah.
And then addressed things and maybe try to make a small change or try to have those difficult conversations with
somebody, like your partner, because this thing carries on with your marriage life, because relationship. It's affecting friendship. Yeah. It's affecting relationship. It's affecting sisterhood, brotherhood, and everything.
Exactly.
So
what have you done? I think that's where you start. I think that's where you take accountability for all the maybe even the nastiness you have allowed to happen in your life, or like even maybe the rubbish that you've tolerated because of maybe the trauma, maybe things that have just been, brewing inside, and you've just ignored because, you know what, I have to go to work, I have to pay the bills, I have to.
So you kind of keep yourself busy, just to avoid looking at it.
Just to avoid, and like you were saying, just dealing with the leaves and not with the roots.
It's this one, even me that I like talking, is choking my throat because it's a heavy. Because like you said, because we are talking about it, that's what it's bringing up. Because like you said, because when you ignore it, you think it's okay. But now talking about it, you're thinking, actually, damn it, But we are ignoring the situation. Yeah. But for me personally, if I'm honest to you, to myself, I deal with my childhood trauma, every trauma, relationship trauma, by talking. Personally.
Always, you've always been like that.
That's me. Like, let's say right now, one of you upset me. You know what I'm going to do? After I put this thing, that pick up the phone, call the closest person to me. Can you imagine this woman? What she did? Whoa, who does she think she is? Blah, 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 blah. And then I just let it out. When I let it out to someone,
who's not the person?
It's not the person that who did it.
But can that person then not come back and do the same thing to you again?
And then I call another person.
What about have you ever thought of confronting the person?
Oh, I do. Yeah.
You confront them as well.
Yes. I do. This is what people call me a bit of a B word, because I don't keep things inside me.
I am totally the opposite. Well, I was totally the opposite. When I look back on my life, I mean, to be honest, the past 5 years have been hard for me. Not hard, but I've found for the past 5 years, I've really been looking into my life and thinking, this is not right. This something is not right, and I was trying to analyze why it's not right, trying to find the root cause of it. And I've learned so much about myself. Before, I used to be a people's person. I was always wanting to please, because I always kept thinking to myself that, because being a single parent, I always needed somebody to lend me money. I always needed somebody to help me with childcare. I always needed somebody for something. So I was constantly worried about pissing people off, because I knew that any minute now, I'm going to need them to help me with something. And because of that, I would just keep quiet. So you'd treat me badly. And to be honest, the badly wasn't as in, you'd make me sit outside or that. But you would do small things, which now, I'll be like, listen, piss off.
Trauma?
Right.
I don't know. Is it trauma? I don't know. But I look back and I think I let a lot of people get away with a lot of stuff, which now I don't take anymore. But you find, having said that, because I'm in the process of trying to undo that part of me, I still let people in and give them a long grace period than I would. And I know you're always saying, why? Because in my head, I'm thinking, there's a human being in that person somewhere. That person just needs time, and I just need to be patient for them to find that human being in them. But you are very quick to go, tell them to fuck off.
That's me.
But I'm not. Especially my family. I would drop everything for my family, because I always think that, look, if I help you today, tomorrow when I'm sinking, you're going to help me. But with life, I've realized, no, they don't. No. Their life will move on. And I'm now sinking, thinking, oh my goodness, I'm now at this point and there's no one to help me. And what that did was it made me resent people. Right. Because now I'm thinking to myself, you know my situation, but here you are, you're not even trying to help me.
I think being your sister, why I'm going to say this is for me, is because people love you. Yeah. You don't even realize.
However, it's good we are talking. At the end of the day, she might think, I'm doing this for my sister. She doesn't appreciate it. She's thinking, I'm doing this for my sister. She doesn't appreciate it. But then if you both talk about it.
I understand why. I understand why she is the way she is. She's had a lot to deal with. Yeah. Do you understand? And she, to me, is the definition of resilience. Yeah. Resilience and hard work. Right. I don't think Rudo has been told by the right people how much she matters to them, and been shown that. Hence, she is the way she is with other people. And with other people, I mean, maybe in relationships, you find it very difficult to take a compliment. Yeah. You find it very hard to see that somebody has really genuinely done something with no expectations, because
everybody always wants something.
No, not even that. Because you do so much for people, right? Sometimes you forget who you've done what for, right? And that person is sitting there thinking, hang on, this woman didn't need to do this for me. What can I do? And then maybe 2 years later, they come back and think, no, here's £100. And you're thinking,
What do they want?
Why is Akos giving me £100?
She wants
for
something.
What does she want? You've forgotten what you did for Akosi. That probably even now has probably even gone to helping a marriage, helping a relationship with a daughter. You are unaware of it because you do it without expectation, right? And those are the things you don't maybe recognize about yourself, or because people don't tell you that this is the kind of person you are enough. For you don't get those words of affirmation like, you're a good mother. But so maybe this is why it takes you so long to know that actually, damn, I am. Because if you think about it, those two kids, the last ones,
the last two,
by yourself.
But maybe I'm not.
And look at them. Those are exceptional children.
But maybe I'm just, so this is where we go back to childhood trauma, isn't it? Where maybe I grew up without getting the compliments.
That's what I'm saying.
So this is probably where my trauma is that that's why now I'm not used to anyone giving me a compliment. But even though I long for it, I'm not used. I don't know how to receive it because I never used to have it. So maybe that's where my trauma is. So, but deep down, I will be very happy. I just can't show it.
Right. So that's another point of reflection. Like when we're going away to our homes and we're thinking about what we said today, that's the point that you think, you know what, this I might need to address.
And again, it's not just you. Like I said, it's all of us who grew up in Africa. Because like me, like I said, sometimes the way me and you, people don't understand why we get along. There's a lot of a similarity. Well, I see myself in you. You are hard working. I work crazy, like I said, to take things off. I can be working. And my husband will come and say, babe, well done. In my head, why are you telling me well done for? No, because I got to do it and it needs to be done anyway. You say well done, it's not going to tell the father I do it.
But it was nice
but it was nice of him to
think about it.
Right? But then it's hard for me to take it in because I'm not used to it.
Do you know what? For me, I think now, it's triggering a lot of things, right? So now when when as women, we all have a list of, I want my man to do this. I want my man to. I want my man to see me.
Yeah.
To see that. Look, she
got potential.
No, she worked her ass off, and all I need to say to her is, "Well done, babe."
Yeah, but then
a man that sees me that I don't want to be you. And go.
Yeah.
What is he talking about?
Yeah.
I had to do it.
Well, do we really want to talk about men?
Like yesterday, as example, he came from work because after church I did food shopping. I did not sit down cooking, cleaning, doing. I was doing the dishes. He came and grabbed me and then tapped me on my bum, and I'm thinking, what
he wants some.
I said, what do you want? But for him, he doesn't want anything. He just see me working so hard.
He sees you.
But then I don't see him.
You're thinking that there is a motive behind this.
Because
what does he want now? Don't you see I'm tired?
See, this is exactly the similarity.
This is what
I want that. I want someone to tap my ass every now and again.
And that's why we said this kind of conversation is important. You know, the thing is, trauma is hard. It's carrying it into marriage. With some people, trauma is carrying with a friendship. Trauma is carrying.
Can you also accept that with your trauma, right? It's got a domino effect. You are affecting someone's child.
But then can be not knowing that it's affecting someone's child.
No, listen. But like when you say my idiot, right? Maybe that's a trigger. This man grew up being called
an idiot.
But
now he would know. But he would know.
He loves.
He would know.
Not calling him that.
No, but he would know to say, baby, idiot, I don't like that word. And then that's squashed.
Right.
No, but if we joke around and he's an idiot and he laughs and goes, yeah, you're my fool, I'm an idiot, and you keep like that.
Let's take our Kosi and her husband. We know her husband. Husband is very soft, very quiet.
She's the idiot.
She's the idiot. We know this.
She's the loudest idiot.
But then
but her husband knows her, so even if she's shouting whatever, he just goes.
But then don't you think? So you see, so this is the problem. This is some of the trauma we're talking about. And I say I deal with my different terms of. This is for me. It's a word. It doesn't mean anything to me. Somebody can call me a bitch. Somebody can call me idiot, and I'm thinking I'm not an idiot.
When someone is being called a cow, does that mean anything to you?
To me, it doesn't mean nothing. For me,
I'm like a cow.
This is some of the things that I say I deal with my differently because somebody called me by name. For me, it doesn't affect my daily life because number one, I'm not that name, right?
But you're not in a relationship with yourself. You're not married.
No. What she's saying is that you can call me something, and maybe you're meaning to insult me to the highest level.
Right.
But to be honest, a cow don't mean nothing.
That's how you feel, right?
Yeah.
So say you now you're saying my idiot, right?
Yeah, right.
And that idiot you're saying, right, feels like.
Well, he'd say it as my man, and close to me like that. That's when you'll be like, you know what, baby, I don't like it when you call me that.
No, let's put it this way: if we are fighting intensely, and then I use that word, then maybe I can understand that I'm defending him.
But if I'm joking with you,
we are just having fun, and I said, "Oh, gosh, you go, beach," because I know.
Like I always used to refer.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I always used to refer to mine as car.
Yeah.
And oh my God, one of my friends always used to go, car, I don't know, why did you say car? And I'm like, but car is small in it. But it doesn't mean back. And I don't, because to me, I say it with affection. Oh, look at my little car. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
My little car. But that's what he is to me, is my little car. Because
does he know that?
And the thing is, this is some of the things we have to kind of like, now the society, now this is not even Africa now. Now the society making things like you can't joke anymore. Everything takes so seriously. And then it's affect, and then
the world has become very
So that's when we need to kind of like know, like me personally. And right now, as we're talking, I don't know what a human being can do for me to trigger my mental health. If only my mental health will trigger by myself, not by nobody.
But how do you know your mental health has been triggered?
Because, like, I can be, mental health be triggered times like, somebody call me a bitch. I go inside the room, be sad. I don't want to work tomorrow.
No. You could be triggered, but then it hasn't taken effect yet.
But that's what I'm saying. if it's not take effect today, it's not going to take effect tomorrow. It's not going to take effect the next day. Personally,
it might 2 years later.
Personally,
for example, I'm saying to you that initially I was a very nice person. I would just be okay. I would let people do for the sake of peace. I would let you say shit, and I'll be like, okay, and just keep quiet. And then I go back and go, did you see how they were treating me? Did you see that? That's just rude. That's just not rude. I would say it out loud, but I've recorded it in my head that that was just taking the piss, and I didn't like it. So what I started doing was I would then avoid the situation where I'm around those people because they make me feel that kind of way. So I distanced myself until I got to a point where I realized, like, who am I going to be left with? Because at the end of the day, these people, whatever they're doing, they probably don't even know that it's affecting me. But now I've distanced myself from them. So now I've got to a point where I'm saying, I will give you a chance. Because I always think that sometimes when you say something, you might not mean to offend me. So I don't want to be quick to be offended. But you do it twice. The third time, I always give people 3 chances. The third time, I'm now like, no. That's when I now confront you and I'm now saying, remember to the first time. That's the thing why I say I don't forget.
Like I said, why can't we talk to each other? For me, like you said, for me personally, that's what all of you know. People who knows me, I will say something like myself because you're being rude. I'm not being rude.
I think with you, you know where you stand.
Because the
you
thing
could
is,
never be like yourself.
No, the thing is, okay, maybe I'm saying it's like, I don't like your pink hair, right? That's me. But then you're not gonna address me. What do you mean you don't like my pink hair? And then you take it home, and then you have it in your head thinking, I could just be rude to me, telling me he doesn't like my pink hair, it doesn't suit me. Me not knowing that because you don't address it to me how you feeling. So by you taking it personal, me I'm moving on. I don't think anything
I think,
you know what I mean?
I think it all boils down to, say I've got you guys as my friends, you 3 as my friends, and then I know of course his personality. I know the kind of person she is. I know with you I have to be open and
deep
and maybe not direct. Deep, but direct, right? With you, I might have to wait a day, and then maybe address it, and then another person maybe just pretend it never happened, right? I think it's about knowing
who you're dealing with, and then not treating everybody the same, because so you're not assuming that common sense is common
for everybody. Do you know what I mean?
Because one thing I've realized is that it's very easy for her to say fat. Very easy to fat people. She go, oh my goodness. I mean, when a Kosi says it to me, I'm like, okay, it's a Kosi because girl, but it's when somebody else says it to me. When my partner tells me that I'm fat. See, the thing is, this is where I always think that in life you need to listen to what other people are saying. Because if you call me fat and we laugh it off, it means I know the level we're at. If you call me fat and you see that my reaction has changed, then you need to know that,
and you keep saying
because if you keep saying it, to me now you're trying to say that you can call me what you like, and then, because I'm not calling you anything. Do you think that I don't have anything to call you?
I'll give you an example. For me, it was with people from Ghana using the left hand. With that, I think it's got nothing to. It's a thing for you. It's a big thing for you in Ghana, right? But for me, it's trauma. I went to a school. It was in Zimbabwe. I was beaten for using my left hand. I couldn't change it. Do you know what I mean? So when you're saying it, I'm not thinking, normally if it wasn't a traumatic thing for me, I would have just gone, oh, I'm sorry, okay, and use my right hand because I'm trying to also respect people from Ghana. It's a big thing for them, right? But because it was traumatic for me, I used to get beaten for using my left hand, right? I'm now thinking, I remember our friend, and he went on and on about it. I literally went into the toilet and cried.
Oh wow!
Because
but my friend has got a problem of not reading people's faces to say that this is now not appropriate. But the funny thing for me, which is very confusing, is the fact that we've all come from our African countries, right? But when we come here, we seem to have this mentality of only how we do it in our country,
Mm-hmm.
which for me is very weird because. But for me, it's very weird because I'll keep thinking to myself, like I said to you the last time, is the reason why I love to go out with people from other countries because I want to learn
about
these simple kind of things.
Right?
I find this information very exciting. But it's some nationalities who do not even want to consider other people. They're thinking, well,
like example, you go to a restaurant. I have a sister of mine. Oh my God! When we go out and I'm using my hand to eat, she's mortified, and I'm thinking, this is me. This is my culture.
Well, in a restaurant, you're using your hands.
No, I have to use a knife and fork. I said, I'm not used. This is not me.
What would you be eating in a restaurant with your fingers? Chicken wings.
Exactly. For example, I'm not going to use a fork and be picking chicken wings while I want my bones to be chewing.
That's true.
I'm not going to do that poshness because this is me. And for me, it's not a shame, but to her, it's mortifying.
I'm not taking you to the Ritz.
She doesn't care.
I definitely ain't taking her.
Listen, girl.
She want them chicken bones at the Ritz.
You see,
normally the Ritz, they don't serve bones anymore.
This is some of the thing we're talking about, childhood trauma.
Yeah.
This is some of the thing because using fork and knife is a Western world culture. That's their culture.
Yeah.
Even when a child is a baby, they teach them how to use.
I remember using cutlery in Zim.
Yeah,
because we always used to have salsa, but when we had rice, my guy was using a spoon.
I used to rice. I used to rice with my hand. You mash it together, you eat it. Yummy. It tastes better than using a spoon.
With your dirt from
So personally, I can go to the higher posh restaurant and I will use my fork and knife. By the end of the meal, my fingers have to be there. If my finger is not in that plate, that means I am not full up.
You didn't enjoy it.
That is my personally. So
this is awkward. So we're not going to take you to the Ritz.
I am coming with race or no race, whatever you name it, I'm gonna be there because all part of maybe that's my childhood trauma. You tell me not to use my hand to eat, and it triggered me what I'm going through. Didn't know that. So by me using my hand, it's making me happy.
It's what you're comfortable with, though,
right?
isn't it? Yeah.
So this is some of the things we're talking. We don't know background about trauma. We just have to be open-minded as it comes to this topic. We call open-minded because as open-minded, right? As African, we are very close-minded because we are in our own bubble. What I know is what I know. I don't want to understand what you're coming from.
And what irritates me. I must say what I feel because if I don't say what I feel, you're walking all over me, and you're always going to have the upper hand on me.
You can say what you want to say, but at the same time, you should be open-minded to receive what the other person is saying. So that's what the whole situation is all about. And for me, like you said, it takes me the last 4 or 5 years. It takes me to be this person because my early 20s take through, like you said, you are nice to people. People take advantage of your kindness. People take advantage of your kindness. And then you reach a point and say, listen, I can't do this anymore because I'm doing it to please you. But you still not happy.
Yeah.
What am I more?
Why am I even bothering?
So right now, both of us are not happy.
Yeah.
So why can I not make myself happy and forget about one less problem for me?
Yeah.
This is what people say to people thinking you are selfish. Selfish, yeah. If they can say selfish have a certificate, I would have wear it on my forehead and be proudly wear it. I reach a point in my life, before I enter my 40s, and I said this all the time, if I'm not happy, no one else should be happy around me. Right? And that's me because I can't be making you happy and I'm sad. So I gotta be happy. I have to happy myself. Then I can extend the happiness towards you.
Well, we have a saying that, one man's problems ain't gonna stop me from eating my shima.
Well, that I don't know about that one, but then I'm just saying my problem has to be happy.
So we only hang around you when you're happy?
No, not like that.
So when you're not happy, what happens?
No. When I'm not happy, I'll still be function with you. But I'm talking about if you come to me to say, give me a bottle of Coca-Cola, and I have one, and I'm not ready to share it, I'm not going to share it with you.
I actually would.
Would you? Depends who, though.
Yeah.
It all depends who. Yeah. For me, it all depends who.
Yeah. Once I've established the fact that you are using me, and I will close doors fast.
Because I will like talking. I don't want to share. I will give you my last Coca-Cola, and I will go hungry. Right? But somebody else come and I don't have two. I'm not even gonna give you half of it.
I think basically the long and short is you need to know the people who are in your circle.
Who's using you and who's taking advantage of you. And then once you know them, at least you know how to deal with them.
Because it's not everything that you always have to announce that,
I'm not going to,
you are not treating
me. There's silent treatment.
Exactly.
And I learned, somebody said, when somebody don't invite you to the party, don't go. When they don't invite you to their conversation, don't ask. When they don't ask for things, for me, before, I used to ask. I used to go because I want to make sure you are happy. Because I'm thinking your problem is my problem, right? And I want to take it and share it. But then people thinking I'm being nosy.
Yeah, exactly.
But you know what?
And you're like, no, really?
2024, I'm not being nosy. I don't care about your problem. I don't care
unless you come
to me and then tell me, of course, listen, I'm going through this problem. I said, listen, what can I do to help you? Even that's me. Before I help, I said, what can I do to help you? I will ask you the help that you need.
Because maybe you just want to talk. Right. Maybe you not actually want to help.
So all the childhood trauma we're talking about, it's all come back. Like you said, people deal with it different. Maybe, and that's why I'm saying open-minded. I'm open to say maybe the person doesn't want to invite you to the party because when she or he sees me, it's triggered his childhood trauma. Maybe he doesn't want me there at the moment. Don't take it offensive. I used to take it personal. As you guys know, I got my two best friends, they're twins, Oh my God, I used to take things so personal. Even if they're going to park and they don't invite
you, you're thinking, guys.
I'm thinking, you know what? I thought I was the third twin. That's how I used to think I was. And when we were young, we didn't have children. It was like that. And then we start having children. They'll be going to park with their kids and stuff like that. And I used to take me personal. And one day I just sit down and I advise her. I said, you know what, girl? You are being unfair. These people, they're twins. You just happen to be their third twins. You can't compare your relationship with two of them. One having their bond, let them. Don't be neat all the time.
Do you know what that is called? Growth.
Yeah.
Well, if it's growth, I take it. And I learned. So now when they do, even sometimes I used to call them, oh, so you go to park, you didn't tell me. But because they know me, they don't take it personal. But then that's what even pisses me off the most.
It's like you're even ignoring my feelings. I'm pouring my heart out.
Right. So you see, so I used to take it personal. So as time goes on, I'm growing and I'm thinking you are being unfair. And I was being unfair to them because I love them so much. I expect them to love me the
same way back.
Right. Maybe they do. Maybe they don't.
And they have a different way of showing it.
Right. But as I'm growing, I said to myself, look, be fair. If they want to have the bonding time, because at the end of the day, they are twins. If they want to just have a family picture with themselves and their husband and their children, you don't necessarily need
to be there.
So you see, so this is what I am learning about myself.
Well, I think it's hard if you've got a big heart, if you've got a loving heart. I mean, because you treat people the way you want them to be treat you back. So when they don't, you're thinking, why would you even think that the way you're treating me is right? But then what happens for me is that once I get to that point where I'm thinking, why do you think your actions are good? Why would you think with the way I treated you, why would you think that this is not gonna hurt me? At this point I flip. This is where my Gemini inside comes. Because from my nice understanding side, I can be a right bitch. I can turn into I can because I get to the point where I don't even give a shit anymore. I don't care what your explanation is anymore. I have seen you, and now I am now just going to retaliate to that.
But then saying Lenny is, and one of our friends made a comment, and I really take it on board, and that is helping me to move forward with people around me, even including my husband, including my children. Because what I said, like work, I work like a mad person, right? So I expect people to work like me. Because you working like me, you're not giving me your money. Because like I want the best for myself as much as I want it for you. But me thinking by you working, you are better yourself. But then she went and said, no, you see, your name is Akos. Her name is Sharon. You cannot expect you and Sharon to be the same. So when I'm going to go hard on Sharon, I go, of course you're a coach, she's Sharon. You know what I mean? So then I become talking to myself, and then don't get so much upset. Don't get so much invested into the situation. Because for me, I'm one person. I know they say look, you can't praise yourself. But one thing people need, and this is what one people, somebody the other day was talking, somebody said, oh, you know what? I have my principle. One thing is I can be nice to you, but I have my boundary. When you cross my boundary, that's when I lose it, and I don't care who you are at this point. Because I can be nice to you to a certain level, and then I'm thinking, damn it, I can't.
I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. But everybody has got a breaking point. You know, you can only tolerate.
But some people put a strong face to say because of God. Oh, you know what? It's okay. I'm strong. I can deal with it better than Sharon. So let me carry on the thing. No, I'm not taking nothing. You see, I'm not taking nothing. So, but then by talking, let's be honest to each other. African people will have an issue where we don't talk because I'm thinking by me talking, you're going to judge me. By me telling you my problem, you're going to judge me. And in all conversation come, I always say this to people.
And you filter when you're talking to Rudo, I can't tell her everything because she's going to think I'm useless. Or I can't tell her course because she won't be able to handle all of it. You know.
But I think the bottom line is we need to talk. You know, and sometimes there's talking where you just talk so that you talk to somebody, you vent to somebody, and you've just let the steam out. But sometimes that doesn't solve anything. There's some issues like childhood trauma. I don't think it's one of those where you can just vent it out and then it's gone.
Okay.
There's some things where you really have to go deeper, and especially when we are Africans like this, there's some issues that you really need to think about it and you know, like because especially if it's your childhood, you can't just approach your mom and start going, you did this. There's a backlash to that as well. So there are a lot of things as Africans that hinder us from trying to sit there and talk to our parents, which is why I think maybe it is so difficult being in this country and being African as well, because we don't have, like, if you were in Africa, you would have an auntie that you go and say, auntie, mom has done this, and then the auntie will then go and tell mom. But because that auntie is missing, you are now, you literally just have to say, mom, this is what you've done, and then she's gonna break down and go, oh my goodness, you are accusing me of this, and automatically in my culture they would normally say, oh, that's a cow, you know what I mean? And
you think I'm a witch?
So you think I did such a bad job raising you. But our parents as well, even at my age, I feel my parents need to be understanding to what I'm saying, because if you are my next point of contact, because we don't have these aunties around us, you need to be more accommodating. You can't then listen to me and take it with I'm literally just saying to you, look, I'm breaking down because of this keeps coming up, and then if you can't help me as a parent, this is when you run out and go and find the aunties if I'm doing it wrong. So I always think that, this should be our next topic, to be honest. It's like being African in this country in terms of relationships with, when you have, in my culture, we know that, if you're dating somebody, there's a whole process to it. I don't know if you do the same thing in Ghana, but here now we don't.
Everybody want money nowadays.
Exactly. You see, so I always think it's a lot of stuff that we are going through. So imagine if us are going through this. What about our children?
So that's when it comes to me. Our generation need to teach them both culture, not just one culture. Because when we teach them one culture, that's when it becomes a problem. They confuse with the friendship they have. Both culture. I'm trying my best. Honestly, I am trying my best. I am not the best mom, and I am not the best parent, but however, I am trying my best to teach my children my culture. And then, it's hard to apply those two cultures together because it becomes difficult. Look, like we're talking about our parents. My child can, if I do something wrong, my child can come to me and say, Mom, I do not like what you did. But then I'll be filming. But then raise the point. But I have to then thinking, listen to this. My mom is doing something. Like on the phone, I was talking to my mom one day. My mom was going through stress to the point that she has to go to hospital. Or because she's dealing with problems that it's not her problem. It's a family problem where it's not her problem. And then I went as a child, I said, Mom,
that's what your problem is.
The problem is, now you're fighting this problem. How is it benefiting your children? This problem is not benefiting you. Now when you stress, it becomes financially, emotionally stress on us. So why can't you not take a break? Oh, my mom think I'm being rude. I'm being disrespectful. How can I talk to her like that? Oh. And I said, Mother, I am not talking to you
disrespectfully. I'm just asking.
I'm asking and advising you my personal opinion. My mom taking it to the next level. And you know what? Me not being want to be rude because I know if I can't.
You're like, sorry.
I didn't even apologize. Oh. But that was a British side of me. I said, I'm not apologizing. I didn't do nothing wrong. All I did was, because I don't want you to get too mad, I just said to her, I hear you. You know what? The children are calling me.
I've got to go. Hello, there's a signal. Hello.
And then and that's how I left it.
So did she register? But she's registered that you were being rude in it.
She did.
So you need to say sorry.
She gave my complaint to one of my cousins. Yes. And then one of my cousins called me one time. He said, "Oh, have you spoke to your mom?" And I said, "Well, not really."
She told me about.
I said, "Did she tell you what happened?"
She only said her side. So that way that child spoke to me, I get that all the damn time. So I'm now so used to just going sorry.
But that is another childhood
and
trauma.
Now I just don't speak. I mean, if I feel like like I've got a point that I want to, I've said to my mom, you know what, Mom? From now on, I am going to tell you what is wrong. I'm not going to tell you if I've got a problem, because you always think that if I say that I'm not feeling well because of this, you are assuming I'm accusing you of making me ill. Yeah. But I'm simply just telling you, but you always understand it from a negative point of view.
I always feel like, especially with these African moms, and with the way our culture is set, right? Imagine if that was your last conversation with your mom and they died.
But this is the problem.
If he dies, he's coming with her. Because I'm not taking responsibility.
This is the problem. This is why, you know what? This is how these African parents, especially the African mothers, these tears, you will die, you will cry. They always do that. They always make you feel so guilty. Emotional blackmail.
Yeah, and then I am not carrying it to my day.
Exactly.
If that's the last word we say and she died, she's carrying with her. What about if I die? No, what about if I die?
You're a child.
You're a child.
So you see, this is the problem we are having. This is the problem we need to solve with our parents before they die.
That's where I've been caught hook, line, sinker, because the emotional blackmail
is too much.
Lingers.
I've told Sharon that I was like that. It was even from my grandmother to my mother. Every time they said anything, because my grandmother raised me, she would call me, "Oh my goodness, Rhoda, I'm starving. My last £5, people, I'm sending it." She goes, "Oh, is that all you could send?" In the end, I was like, you know what, bitch, I ain't dealing with you no more. I swear to God, I cut ties. I said, you know what, if you can find someone who's gonna give you more, that's fine. You go and get that person. But because what would happen is, if I give you my last £5, right, and you are ungrateful, I am now so bitter. And even the Bible says, then you haven't done a good thing, because if you're now regretting and thinking, well, what was the point of giving that one? And so when my grandmother passed away, we all thought, oh my gosh, all hell is gonna break loose. But then I thought, no, it didn't. And you know what I thought? I thought, we overestimated how angry that woman was. She probably wasn't even...
She forgot about it.
No, I don't think she forgot.
She did.
I think she wasn't even as angry as we thought. She was one of those who always used to... She just said things for effect.
And also because she was allowed for a long time.
Exactly. That way. So she wasn't... So the same thing with your mom. Even if you tell your mom, you find that you tell her something, she'll go, how dare you? How dare you? But at the end of the day, I don't think she's registered it down to say,
you know what?
And tick the box.
But that's a childhood trauma,
Yeah.
That's childhood trauma.
But because my grandmother was older, and I was just this old lady.
It's dementia.
That's the way she is. I always used to think, I used to get angry, obviously.
Yeah.
Like one time I went and I bought groceries for her, and the one thing she picked up was what was not there. Yeah. Wrong brand.
Yeah. But this is the trauma.
But the relationship I had with her was that I could speak freely with her and tell her, "You're taking the piss, blood."
Yeah.
But did she register it as you insulting her?
Yeah.
No.
Exactly.
How do you know?
Because she said, like
the way you said,
sister.
Yeah.
Sister, I'm just.
But see, this is the thing, though. This is the thing I don't get with family.
I'm just saying.
With you, Sharon, we're offending Sharon, then they all back down. Yeah. With me, they will be like, told me, yes, Rudo, you didn't buy me the one I want. You should know better. I'm like,
it's the one thing I set, like,
your
boundary to do that.
Yeah, that's your boundary you set, and then they can't cross it.
Yeah.
And
that's
you know
what I
what? On this topic, like we said, it's not just our going through it. We're gonna end it here. We're gonna continue because our producer is telling us time up. Yeah. So we're gonna end this conversation now. And thank you. And we said, you know, a Western world British person. I'm living in UK, so I can say British people. British person was said, pick up the phone and call anybody you can talk to.
If
that will make things better. They say if I can talk to one person, I save one life. I know I've done my best. But as Africans, we are lack of talking.
Yeah.
We are lack of talking to somebody because we are thinking we are being judgmental. Like these things we are talking, we are making. We come up with it so that because there's a lot of people going through the same problem. So we sat down and thinking, you know what can we do to make it? Maybe when you are stressed, go and pick up our program, watch and laugh about it. Watch, and then you know that you are not alone. We are here together. We are doing this for fun. We are not doing this for anything because we are going through the same problem. And we can't pick the phone to call everybody. So nowadays, everybody takes social media as a phone call they can call to, they can relate to. So let's be kind to one another. And every day, that's our message to people.
And check up on each other.
And check up on each other and treat people the way you want to be treated.
Yes.
And then life will be a better place for all of us. Because not just me and you, we are raising our children in this society. And if they see us being nice to one another, they're gonna continue doing that. If my child see me talking behind Auntie Rudo's back, that bitch, that this, Auntie Shadow, I don't like it, they're gonna think it's normal, right? And they're gonna do that to their friend. And then the world is just gonna be messed up, as it is, as we there. So let's be kind to one another. Like I said to people, I can be one of the biggest judgmental in the world, but I am learning myself, and I'm taking my own advice. And if I say something to offend anybody, please forgive us. We're
not here to offend.
We are not here to offend nobody. We are learning, and we are trying to make the world. We can't change everybody.
We are human beings, not beings. BEEN. We are human being. BING. You are being. You are being every day
trying to be better.
I heard this on a live.
You are trying to be better. Every day we are trying to be better.
And this thing we are doing, we are learning about ourselves. And today, I promise you, after this camera is down, we're gonna be talking to actually, you know what? Did you learn something about yourself? And then I'm gonna say actually, yes, childhood trauma is bringing me to my marriage. So today I'm gonna make it better with my husband. If I called you a name and you don't like it,
tell me I'm sorry.
Tell me, and then I'll give you keys to make everything better.
My boo,
and then,
I ain't apologizing, baby.
Well, you gotta apologize. Depends.
My future boo.
Anyway, baby, you need to call me to let me know if I offended you.
Thank you. Thank you. And please subscribe. And then when we post, you can see it. Thank you.
Thank you.
One love. Bye.